podcast. I am Tim. With me is my co-host Patrick. How you doing, buddy?
Good eye, Tim. We're back in Australia.
We are back in Australia. Although I feel like the accents are not as strong, at least not from all the characters in this movie.
Compared to action.
Attack Force Z.
Thank you.
Had stronger Australian accent work. Not that you could completely tell from Mel Gibson in this movie because he doesn't have a whole lot to say.
Nope. Not so much.
Which is kind of the Mad Max way, to be fair.
Yep. That's the character.
It is the character. Like, I'm watching this movie and it was like, you know what? It really wasn't that big of a deal with Tom Hardy, and his portrayal seems pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more feral in the Road Warrior, but
it's the best one. Fury Road.
Oh,
By far.
You hurt me. So you're not ready to apologize to this movie?
No, I feel pretty spot on with my opinion on it. Nothing has changed.
It's a very unpopular opinion, by the way. I just want to put that.
Granted.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Although I have still yet to watch Thunderdome.
Yeah. Master Blaster. Let's go.
Yeah, you did get to grace me with some digital copies of the Mad Max.
I bought the 4K
series.
set of the series so I could listen to the director's commentary. That's the commitment I have to this show, Tim.
It's very noble of you.
Thank you. And I shared with you the digital copy, so you still didn't have to pay for anything for this show.
Yeah, I know. So are you saying that means my pick of the Road Warrior doesn't count for rentals then?
I'm not saying that.
Yeah, you're pseudo saying it. Okay, fair enough. But so we didn't get to have to pay for it, so that was cool.
No, you
and well, yeah, I didn't. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was going to fire up the third movie, but then I had to go pick Meg up at the airport, so I did not get to do it yet. So
it's fine. It's a little treat for you
hopefully I'll
later.
get around.
Hey, listen. The series, in my opinion, just gets better as it goes along. George Miller just becomes a better director as he gets older, and it keeps on. We finally got his complete vision with Fury Road, which is just one of the best action movies ever made. It's incredible.
Yeah, but I would argue, especially after this one, I feel like he was like, okay, what can I do next for the next Mad Max movie? And he's like, you know what? And because he said his personal favorite is the second one. And so he's like, why don't I just take the end of Road Warrior and turn that into an entire movie?
Let's do the good part of Road Warrior and do that the whole movie.
Oh, you keep hurting me. This is just little like jabs that you're doing to my kidneys.
Doing it slightly for my benefit to enjoy watching you squirm. But.
Dude, I like this movie.
Okay, good for you. It's not bad. It's not bad.
It is fun.
It's just like
it is
I know he can do better, and I've seen better from him.
Maybe it's because you saw this movie before Fury Road.
Yes, I did.
I don't know what your deal is. I don't know. I don't get it. Apparently, too, this was supposed to be like he was done after this one, and it wasn't
Gibson?
Miller. And like, I heard that, or I read that apparently he got the wanting to do like a guy with kids and a post-apocalyptic thing, and then I don't know if he made the idea or someone else made the suggestion to him or something that was like, what if you did that with Mad Max and the guy is Mad Max with a bunch of kids? And then he was like, ooh.
Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I watched the movie, Tim. I watched the making of documentary, and I watched the movie again with the director's commentary.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a commitment.
To you, buddy. It's for you. For you in this show.
Or is it to insult me?
No, I want to come with all the fire. So after he made the first one, all Miller could see was everything he did wrong.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I made a really bad movie. And it's like
it's not good.
It's the biggest hit in like Australia's history at that point. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, this movie!" He's like, "It sucks." That's what Miller sees. And so he was really
He
excited
sees
to
the truth.
do Road Warrior because it's like, I know how to make this better. I know it. But he's even unsure of himself, actually, at the time. Like, I don't know. Like, filmmaking is really hard. It's like a war.
Yeah.
And, oh, Lord, I'm blanking on a famous director. Oh, it was Joe Dante. He talked to Joe Dante.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And Joe Dante is like, it's always like that, man. It's always like that. He's like, oh, okay. And so he's like, oh,
Yeah.
you got the confidence to go and try again. Road Warrior is what we got.
And it's pretty interesting because, I mean, it doesn't break or get anywhere close to the Junk Man, but it's doing very similar. Like
I was thinking about that
mess
too.
up some vehicles.
I was thinking about that too. It's like, this is dangerous.
Yeah, it's definitely reading up on it. It's like, wow, it was kind of insane what they were doing here, and like he's gonna continue that energy with Fury Road much later down the road. I don't know if he does any of that in Thunderdome because again, I didn't see
I don't
the
want to
third
spoil it
one
for
yet. Fair enough. Keep it yourself. So I guess, all right. So I guess we'll start since this was my pick.
you. Explain your movie.
Yeah. So we have.
So you can sum up that intricate plot.
Yeah, I guess I'll just shorten it because we they do give backstory and all that in the beginning, but it's not really necessary. But it's post-apocalyptic, kind of nuclear fallout has happened, and there's a lot of wasteland going on here, and the people that are still around surviving in this wasteland. And there's this one man who is almost feral. His nickname is Mad Max, and he's a wanderer, as many are looking for gas because gas is a precious thing and there's not a lot of it left.
The road warrior.
Yeah, and he stumbles across a encampment of gas people that are able to pump gas still, and they're under threat from a gang, and they're trying to get out alive. And Mad Max begrudgingly ends up helping them out and getting them away from the gang, and he saves the day at the end.
Yay.
The end. Yeah.
So let's talk about our hero.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the shortest section. No, well, it's one of the short. It's a short section.
Is it for you?
Yep. There's a lot to say about Max, in my opinion.
No, I guess it is my shortest section.
My villain is actually pretty short too.
Everything. Yeah, you don't get a whole lot of background. I mean, you do get the background in the beginning, like you get the whole montage of,
he lost his
that
family.
his family died and that kind of stuff. I mean, luckily it doesn't quite go into the whole police thing, which we don't really need any of or anything like that. But yeah, Fallout, and so they kind of get across that with all that happened to him, he's kind of, I don't know about unhinged is the right word, but
Max is just...
he's not very human.
He's a survivor. All he does is live to survive to the next day.
Yeah.
But there are cracks of him being like a good human being underneath, and they get larger throughout the movie.
Right. Which seems to be something that happens, even in Fury Road, right? That he eventually begrudgingly is like, all right, I'll help you.
I mean, it's just another version of Yojimbo and the man with no name.
Yeah.
The loner who walks into town is like, all right, fine.
Yeah. That's a very good point. And he's got a very cool look, which apparently was all Mel Gibson's idea. At least in the notes that I saw, in the backstory, it was Mel Gibson that decided to like rip off one of the sleeves and kind of look more disheveled and all that kind of stuff was apparently more Mel Gibson's ideas for that. Again, who knows? This is like half-assed internet research, right? But anyway, that's what I saw. So anyway, I think he's got a really cool, awesome look to him.
Yeah. No,
the car is cool. I like the outfit. Yeah, so the big thing is, he doesn't speak much. I think they said he has a total of 12 lines in the entire movie. And otherwise, there's a lot of looks. There's a surprisingly some humor though from some of his stuff.
3 times throughout the whole movie.
Yeah,
and they're always small smiles, but the last one is the biggest. Miller pointed this out in the director's commentary.
Yeah.
The first smile is when he has the gyro captain hooked up to the rig in the back where he's got him strapped in, and he has a shotgun attached to a dog bone, which the dog has in its mouth. which
I
is
love that
really
scene.
funny.
I love it. It's so good. But I guess it's more of a sidekick part. But yeah, it's great.
It's I don't know. It all blends in. But it's funny that like he's having a good time watching him freak out because he sees the gyro captain
Yeah.
sees a bunny and he's really worried about the dog moving that shotgun. and,
It's awesome.
Max just has this great smile. Like, yeah. It's very subtle.
It is a very. It almost reminded me of kind of like anime humor. In that moment,
Back to
I
anime.
really liked
Wow.
it. It was hilarious. And I love the line too. Like, you want to get out of here? Talk to me. Like, it is a amazingly well delivered line, and I love how the camera pans and zooms in when he's doing it. It's just it. He doesn't speak much, but when he does, he's freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
He's just cool. But yeah, he does. He does kind of get beat up or helped a lot for sure.
Sure. Yeah. He learns the value of
definitely
friendship.
Not perfect. I always find it interesting. So yeah, he's definitely got a lot of help from sidekicks in this movie. The one time he does kind of go it alone, he immediately gets wrecked.
Yeah.
It was sad to see the Interceptor go.
Wasn't all the movies.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of the thing. I mean, it's not even really in Fury Road, right? I think it's like basically there in the beginning.
It gets wrecked in the
and,
beginning
like
of the
at
movie.
the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of about it. But yeah, so I enjoy it. I like the facial expressions that he gives off. He's a movie star.
Yeah. Mel Gibson
Take it or leave it on how you like Mel Gibson, but he's a movie star.
Yeah. He's very charismatic.
Yeah.
I don't. There's not a lot to say about him though, so I don't know what to like.
Yeah.
Everything that's cool about him really is involved in the action scenes. So I
For sure. Yeah.
don't have a ton to say. So I gave him a 3 because I'm like I don't know what else is. There's nothing really to expand on or to talk about with him. He's just like cool, silent type.
Yeah, and he just does it so well, and
Yeah.
I think his look also kind of goes into it, like the sawed-off shotgun and the leather and the car. It's just a freaking look.
I
You know
love
what
that
mean? Like
it's revealed later on the gun doesn't have any bullets in it. And he's,
it's a great reveal. It's a great
yeah,
reveal.
the
Yeah,
look on the gyro captain's face, and he was like, "Oh, you mother!"
yeah.
Like-
And then I love too later on when he finally gets a shell and the shell is a
Explodes.
dud on
Yeah,
him
yeah.
and explodes on
When
him.
he finds the truck, yeah.
Exactly. Some more fun moments of great charismatic facial expressions from Mel Gibson.
It's just
in
all
that.
attitude. That's how Mad Max survives. It's based on all attitude.
It's all the charisma that he's oozing. I went 3.5. Is what I went with. So because you're right. I mean, it is. You don't get a lot, but I think the charisma, the attitude, and the whole look is kind of iconic. That is why I kind of went with the 3.5.
All right, we'll table that one for now. We'll argue it at the end.
Fair enough.
3 or 3.5. We'll see. I'm not doing a 3.25.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
We'll see if we'll see if we get into a big argument. We need to use this to negotiate. So let's get to the villain.
Yes. We
Lord
got two
Humongous, the
main-
Ayatollah of rock and rolla.
I love Humongous. More guy that just looks freaking cool. He's oily and jacked. He's got this weird pulsating head.
Yeah, he was Mr. Sweden or something.
I thought he was German.
Swedish. I definitely heard Swedish on the
Okay, I thought he
commentary
was German.
anyway.
Okay.
And they thought they were going to dub his voice, but they realized actually the voice kind of sounds cool, so they just kind of went with it.
I love it. It's one of my favorite parts. It's actually one of the things that made me laugh the hardest in the South Park.
remember
There
you
was a
getting
South
very
Park
excited about that,
episode,
yeah.
where just for the audience, there's a South Park episode. I wish I remember what it is. But there
It's the
was
boys
like a
versus
girls
the
versus
girls.
boys.
Yeah.
Yes. And like Cartman shows up in a little go-kart and he's got the mask on. He's doing the voice, and I laughed so hard in that moment. But it's cool.
Yeah,
the
it's
pulsating back of the head.
They only do it
and everything
once.
is a neat
It
look.
only worked once. The makeup, but it's very cool. I love that pulsating back. It's Jason-esque. He's got the hockey mask on and everything.
Yes.
It's like a metal
And
hockey mask.
It's like, I think they spray painted it silver, basically. But yeah, it
Yeah,
looks
and
cool.
everybody in Humongous's gang, by law, must be in full S&M gear.
Yes.
And like shoulder pads from like football or something.
Well,
or hockey.
clearly they like raided S&M shops and sporting goods stores.
Yeah, the costume
and
designer
thrift
apparently
shops.
lived or worked near one, and so she just decided like that would be kind of cool for
Yeah.
everybody.
And apparently it was freezing, so that
Yeah,
must
they
have
shot
not
the
been
thing in the
great.
winter, and God bless all of them. Mel Gibson, they were talking about Mel Gibson's teeth chattering all the time. The only
Yeah.
time it stopped is when Miller said, roll action. And they
Roll, yeah.
on a dime, knock it off. But as soon as the camera stopped, back to chattering.
Yeah. I read at one point that what's his name? I didn't catch the right-hand man biker guy.
Wes?
What is it?
The one with the mohawk.
Yeah.
That's Wes. You know
Wes,
him in
okay.
another movie.
He looked familiar.
Mm.
Where do I know him?
He was Bennett in Commando. The one with the mesh shirt.
Oh, yeah.
That didn't fit?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Not his fault. The actor who was originally cast in that role was fired, and so they didn't have time to give him new costuming. So he just had to wear the old actor's costume. Didn't fit.
That's great.
Yeah, that's Commando for you. Another day.
But yeah, apparently he had assless chaps.
Yes, he did. You can see it throughout the movie.
And apparently there at one point he was so cold that they noticed his ass turned purple.
Oh, God.
So they had to cut and get everybody inside to warm up for a little bit.
Yeah, no, you can see his ass pretty much throughout the movie. It's like a little tail or something in between. So it doesn't show full butt, but it's, like, whew.
And we're kind of introduced to him right away.
Yeah, he's in the opening
that kind of
action
starts
scene.
the movie. Yeah.
And
he's got this vendetta for Max for whatever reason that I guess he took out some of his guys or something. He didn't like that he was not successful in getting his gas.
Yeah.
I guess. They have an interesting stare down between as they're like trying to like get the fortress people, and they're like staring each other down.
Well, before that, when he's like pulling the arrow out of his own arm, and he seems to be having an orgasm while doing it.
Yeah,
That's
and they show it. It looks pretty good.
Yeah,
practical effects
Yeah.
of taking the arrow out. They look cool. Yeah, and staring him down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess he had it. So it clearly shows, at least in the movie, that there's a weird homosexual relationship between him and the guy on the bike. But apparently I read a note, too, where that's not necessarily in the script. And I guess George Miller said you can create whatever backstory you want. And so apparently that was not the backstory of those two.
It's very... Listen to the director's... Yeah, no, that's exactly what it was.
Okay.
They wanted him to seem more feral, so he just, instead of having a girl on the back, it was a guy. And the golden-haired youth, I think, is what the character's name is. Doesn't say a word.
Yeah.
Miller, when he was in the production office planning out the movie, he happened to just see this guy outside delivering a package. He was a courier. And he's like, that's him. That's the guy I want for this part. And he like ran out the door and went and got him.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how he got casted.
That's crazy. But he's also fun.
Yeah,
he's clearly a nut. He pulls that off really well. He does pull off the kind of feral thing that you never know what he's going to do next.
Yeah.
And then him betraying the other, the humongous at one point because he didn't lison, and then he's chained like a dog at one point.
Because he's a bad puppy.
And then he's like, okay, I need you to be your nut self, and he lets go of the chain to let him loose, and that was just fun to see. Well, the only weird part was the weird montage where it randomly rained and it wasn't supposed to rain. I guess they filmed anyway. And apparently he was like speaking, I guess, Swedish. He was just doing some poem or something, is what he was doing in real life during that weird montage.
Well, I love earlier on when Lord Humongous confronts everybody.
Yeah.
And he tries to come off like magnanimous and reasonable. Yeah. Meanwhile, he has like 3 of the refinery people like strapped to the hoods of the cars.
Yes.
It's like, no one needs to get hurt except for these motherfuckers right here.
I will let you go. Just
no violence
is
necessary.
Open.
I don't like violence.
Yeah.
What?
But if you mess with me, I have a very large gun.
Yeah.
That I keep in a nice secured box.
It's a very pretty box.
It is a very pretty box.
Yeah, but Wes gets very unhappy when the feral kid kills his bottom boy.
Yeah, he's not happy with that one, which is weird because he's still like is still obsessing over Max and does not seem to care all that much about the feral kid at all,
Yeah. Well,
which is kind of odd.
because Max sort of defeats him when he gets inside the lair of the refinery. So I guess that's why
Yeah.
he's focused on Max more than anybody else.
Well, they were staring each other down before he gets in the
Yeah.
refinery.
He's like, oh, I know you.
Yeah.
You beat me before. Can't have that.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was bested, and so now he has to show he's superior or something. I guess is what they're getting at.
It's very macho. Very macho. So,
Oh, for sure.
so that's all I got for villains, though. Unless you want to talk about the Toady.
Which one's the toady? What am I?
Toadie's the one who gets his fingers chopped off by the boomerang.
Oh yeah. Nah, or the guy with like he's got like a raccoon head on or something,
Yeah.
right? Or
He's the only one that was warm in the entire movie. Like,
yeah. I bet,
He's
right?
so
Or maybe
first.
even there's that one S&M looking police officer looking guy
Oh, he's got
where
the
he at
face
least got to
mask.
cover his yeah, he got
Yeah.
to cover his face and stuff. So it's like that must have been more helpful.
Well, in the COVID world, we realized how warm masks are. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I guess. But you're right. I guess I do have the no more games from Humongous. I love it. Yeah, it's not. There's not a whole. There is some weird yells towards the beginning of the movie, like some weird ADR yells coming from like. Remember when he's like expecting the truck that he'll come back to, and like a dead body falls out of the truck. There's some weird, like almost like they're trying to get you with jump scares, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. Well,
Towards the beginning.
I also want to point out too with Wes, he's probably the more interesting of the two villains, just because he doesn't seem to care about anything except for defeating. Like when they took out that
Yeah.
car early on, when Max first gets up to the refinery and he sees those cars running out trying to escape, they knock down one of those cars, and that's Wes is with that party. And as soon as he kills the people, he's out. He's like, he's not picking up gas. He's not caring about the people. He's like, I'm done. That's all I needed to do. He doesn't even stay
Yeah.
for the raping or the pillaging. He's like, eh.
Was there raping? I mean,
yeah, there was raping.
I guess so. I mean, they were definitely like unclothing her, but then they kind of quickly cut to her
Well, we
getting shot at.
Thankfully, Miller's a classier dude. We did. He's not
Yeah.
the Death Wish director. We don't need to actually see
For
it.
sure. Yes. I actually made a note of that too. Like, oh, this is somehow a more pleasant rape. I can't believe that came out of my mouth, you know?
Less
like
disgusting anyway. Without
exactly. Less appalling, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That. So what'd you give Villain?
I went 3.5 again.
I also went 3 again.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. All right.
This should be interesting.
By the way, and I was seeing it in the streaming version, so I don't know if it looked even better for you, but the 4K transfer is really good.
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
It is so gorgeous.
It was kind of intense. We're like, wow, this is the prettiest movie we've seen so far. Like,
By far.
there was some really nice visuals at times in Rambo.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is, or should I say First Blood? Sorry. I don't know if it's when we saw First Blood, it was just a Blu-ray copy. I don't know, but the 4K transfer or update or whatever, it looked great. It looked really
It's
great.
dynamic. If you're interested in the series, definitely get it. It's worth the money.
Yeah, it's pretty. So yeah, most of this in this movie, most of the action is car stunts and action.
Yep.
Most of the time is basically what you're getting, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed a lot of it.
It's very good. Not great.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on.
It's no junk, man.
Well, I don't know, man. You get some really cool stuff. I mean, you get the high-speed chase to start off with.
Which isn't really that good.
They did have to do more ramping up of the shots. I guess.
What's interesting is the way that Miller decided to film this, and I don't know if he figured it out in this movie or the first movie, but to make things look like they were going fast, he had the camera down on the bottom of the car. So even at slower speeds, it looks like it's going really fast. The only times they only have to crank the camera like one or two times throughout the movie, and it's actually later
Yeah.
on, like when Max escapes the refinery with his gas. That's where they really crank the
Yeah.
camera because the cars couldn't go
For
over
sure.
the desert dunes that
Right.
fast. But on the road, they were able to go at a good clip, and yeah,
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, again, I like the stopping short trope, and then the arrow hits the other dude in the arm, and yeah, and I think there was at least one or two crashes that were pretty cool
yeah.
looking
Well,
in the
Max
first action sequence.
nudges he bumps onto the car, and that causes the car to bump into the buggy, which flips into the truck, and then the car
Yeah,
flips for some reason too on top of it. And
yeah.
and that's that's the end of the action scene. And I was like, okay,
I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know, man.
it's fine, it's fine. There's better stuff
Okay.
to come.
I mean, yeah, it gets better as it goes, but I thought it was pretty solid action. I don't know. I was entertained. I was like, oh, cool. Because I guess again, it's been a while since I watched this movie, so it's just like, man, it's cool that I'm still like, even in 1982, like he was still doing this stuff. Like he was already doing this stuff before Fury Road. Like he was already wrecking cars and doing some pretty cool
It
stuff.
does, yeah, much cooler stuff later on too. But what's cool is that there's like, that's it for a while.
There is a bit of a break in action.
That's it for a
yeah.
long while.
Yeah. Yeah, because then it's like there's like a lot of like him scoping stuff out for a while, walking around, gang members to avoid them, right?
Dealing with the refinery people, yeah, making a deal.
So yeah, I get that point.
I wrote down the gyro captain's snake kill from above. He drops a dead snake on somebody.
Yes, that was funny. I enjoyed that. Well, I mean, he does say at one point that he trains the snakes.
Well, the snake is dead at that point because that's when they come back to the snake.
Yeah,
and he's fighting with the dog over the dead snake. He's like, no, it's mine, my dinner. And then he uses the snake anyway to help out Max as he's trying to get back into the refinery with the truck. And he uses it to drop on somebody, and that causes them to crash.
He's like getting the what is it? He's getting the gas back, right? And so he's which was a nice action sequence, I thought. And like there's a cool moment where he's like barreling through other cars, and there's like a guy working on a truck underneath the truck.
Yeah.
And so the crash knocks into the truck and falls on him.
Like the Wicked Witch of the West. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a nice moment.
Some dummy legs, but it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were moving. It looked cool. I don't know. Yeah, and his windshield getting broken as they're like popping out of the cars trying to break his windshield, and then Max has to punch out the windshield, all that stuff. I mean, it was neat, practical stuff.
End, I think, isn't it, with the windshield?
No, I think they do it in this part, don't they?
I thought it was the end, but anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, because I have it in my notes right before he blows the horn to be let in.
Okay.
In the truck there.
Well, anyway, that causes the couple of the gang members, including Wes, to get inside.
Yeah.
And Wes does this really cool like jump and flip over one
he
guy.
flips up onto the scaffolding.
Yeah, to take out the
awesome.
crossbow guy, and I was like, "Whoa, where is this movie?" And it's nothing else like that ever happens again. I was like, "Oh."
No, yeah, that's about it. But it was still pretty impressive. I mean, he was jumping on the truck and fighting through the window earlier before that part. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, Wes has some moves.
Yeah, it was some cool swinging around. I like the what's the appropriate word here? The handicapped, crippled, whatever you want to put, guy that's on the little swing there.
Yeah. The guy's legs don't work.
Be offensive, right? Yeah. He was even getting in the fight, and he was swinging in, knocking guys over. So I enjoyed that too.
Sure. Yeah. No. It's decent.
Yeah.
It's nothing spectacular, but yeah, it's good. We get into the good stuff after this. That's
yeah. I'm just saying it was still a nice little action sequence that I enjoyed. You still got some more cool crashes and some cool fights and stuff again, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Man, you're such a poo-pooer, man. Tell you.
Anyway, then Max has the gas, and he says, "Screw you guys, I'm not helping you anymore. I got what I came for. Deal's a deal."
Yeah. They
And he,
all try to convince him to change his mind.
and he leaves.
Yep.
And this is where we get to some good stuff
Yeah.
because the Interceptor crash is spectacular.
It looks like, yeah, I was watching, I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
that car got messed up. Like,
What's fun?
oh my gosh.
Was that that's actually in two different locations. So the
really?
initial flip is in one place, and then going down the cliff is another place.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they flipped that same car twice,
Wow.
and it looks
Yeah,
perfect, seamless.
it
You
looks
can't tell.
great. And I hear there's like a lot of hubbub about like what happened to that car and who ended up getting it, and is such and such the real one or is such and such the replica, and it's like there's like this weird
I know there were two.
backdealing
They
of it.
made two cars. That's all I know for that.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway, I was shocked. I was really shocked that it like got that messed up, and I think they did a really good job too of making sure that Max looks completely messed up.
yeah.
And I guess we'll talk about what happens after
Let's
that
not.
later.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was sad.
And then you got the car. It explodes. Who's the booby trap? And it's a nice explosion.
It is. It is a nice explosion. Also, oh no, we haven't gotten there yet. Never mind. Hold on. Yeah, continue.
We're getting to that very next thing.
Yeah.
Because then the gyro captain comes and saves Max and brings him back. He sees the explosion from far away. So he brings Max back to the refinery to fix him up. And that's when Max says, "I'm going to get involved." The movie tries to pretend that it's because he wants to help them, but I think he just wants to F up that gang for screwing up. He's like, "I don't have a choice. I need to drive the truck.
I got nothing else,
Yeah.
so might as well, basically. I think that's kind of the vibe I got.
Yeah.
I don't think it was really to help. I think it was just like, well, what else do I got to do? I just got my car gone and totaled here,
Exactly.
so why not? And I'm mad, so let's do it. That's
So-
what I took it as well.
Jailbreak out of there, and once everyone's gone, we have a amazing explosion.
Oh my gosh. I was impressed. I was shocked by how big it was.
Yeah, well, let me give you the backstory to this. Miller told his special effects guys, "You're not touching this." And they got really pissed at him. He's like,
Oh,
"You
wow.
guys can't give me the explosion I want. I'm calling it the Australian Army." The Australian Army had the big stuff, and they had it all set up, and they blew it up right, and they had to warn airlines about the explosion ahead of time, and miners in the area. You can't be
Wow.
underground when this goes off, because it's going to be
Yeah.
so loud. And they saw it for miles and miles off. It is basically a mushroom cloud. If it
Yeah.
wasn't for the wind blowing in and sort of ruining it, which pissed Miller off that the wind hit that, because they could only do it once, because that's a real
Yeah.
set. They built that thing with scrap metal from the area.
I believe it. Yeah. I can believe that just by the way it looks. It looks tactile and feels, it looks like real, you know?
Yeah, it's an
But
awesome
that
explosion.
explosion is, man, I think I've said it a couple times in a few of our episodes where I try to give props. Like, oh, I kind of like that explosion. This is by far the best explosion we've seen all season.
Easily.
Yeah, hands down. It is impressive.
Congratulations to the Australian Army.
Yeah, it's definitely a wow,
Nailed it.
whoa moment for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the best part of the movie gets going. And
Lasts like
comes
11 minutes long.
It's great. Well, I mean, I understand. I get it, right? Again, he really was like, I'm going to take this awesome part of this movie, I'm going to turn it into a whole movie, and that was Fury Road, because it's basically the premise, right?
Yeah.
He eventually becomes the truck driver in Fury Road, right? He eventually becomes a truck driver here, and he's got
waste
people
time
on
talking
top
about
of
it,
it.
great.
But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, no, it's really good. So the first great stuff that you have in here is the hook. Some guy just throws like a grappling hook onto this perch that this one guy is on, and it's strapped to the back of the truck, this Mack gas tank truck, and it catches the guy by the leg that's in the perch, and for some reason that combination with the weight of the guy and the perch causes the dune buggy that the grappling hook is attached to flip 4 or 5 times before the perch finally comes off with the dummy on it. And it's a really nice
It's a
accident.
really cool shot.
Yeah.
And I don't remember at what point. There's one point where one of the buggies or cars goes off the side of the road, and a guy comes flying out from the from the car, and that does not look like a dummy. It looks pretty legit.
Oh, from that scene? From that specific
I don't know
part?
if it's I don't know if that the one you were talking about, but there was one where the one's veering off, goes off the road in a jump and like crashes into a car.
You're not talking about the
or
motorcycle, are you? The guy goes in flying.
maybe I don't know.
He
Yeah,
does like
somebody goes flying forward out of one of the vehicles.
Okay, yeah, I
And
think
it looked like a legit dude.
it is a legit dude. I can get to that next. It's a good story.
Okay.
That was actually a bit of a world record that nobody had done that far before. He flew 60 feet in the air.
Oh my god.
So
lived.
for the motorcycle crash that you're talking about, and the stuntman is Guy Norris, who is also in Fury Road. Yeah, like you said, he went 60 feet in that air stunt. Miller wanted the buggy that gets knocked to the side of the road to still kind of be moving, and for dust to be in the air, because he wanted it to all look like it's happening in seconds.
Right.
Because naturally the stunt's been done before, but it's usually everything stationary and locked in time. But
Right.
Miller wanted to look, like I said, fresh and spectacular and quick. So he had it moving just a little bit, and he had dust in the air. And that caused the stunt driver to jump off a little earlier than he should have. And the truck was moving, the buggy was moving, so he hit his knee on the dune buggy. And that causes him to flip and somersault.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And he goes 60 feet through the air, and he lands right where he's supposed to. But they go run over to him, and he swears his leg is broken. Turns out his leg is not broken. He had broken his leg a few months beforehand, and he had a pin inserted into it. And the stunt caused the metal pin, to bend.
Huh.
And it got written up in medical journals because nobody thought that could happen. They thought that was literally impossible.
Wow. That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks awesome.
Yes,
looks
it really
freaking
does.
cool.
It's really good.
It's another one where I had to pause and be like, whoa.
I
that
watched
was
it a
really
couple
cool.
times, yeah.
Yeah, it was really awesome. Yeah, so anyway, I like all the firebombing that's going on from the sky when the helicopter guy comes in. So that's pretty cool. I enjoy once they start getting in the cabin there of the truck, and you know he's fighting with he got clawed or something in the
bear
back.
claw,
The guy's like stuck or dead or something, so he's
Guess-
like stuck.
The guy who's doing that bear claw is the same guy who did the motorcycle stunt.
Oh wow.
He's like, his leg is like not working, so they have him like sitting down. And
Oh,
so he
wow.
just does this. That's all he can do, and I prop his leg up. Because the truck, unless you're actually seeing the truck move, like all the close-up shots, the truck is not moving. It's all just close-ups and wind machines going on right there.
But it looks good though.
No, it looks
you
fantastic.
can't tell. Yeah. You know, and of course you have Wes or whatever too, and he falls off the front of the car.
Yeah,
and it's
Max
like, oh,
does
man,
his famous stopping move.
yeah. Did he just die unceremoniously? And it's like, nope. It's a surprise, scary movie. He comes back, which is really fun
what's
too.
great too is like when he stops the truck, when Max stops the truck, Humongous is right behind him, and he smashes into Max's Mack truck.
Yeah.
And Humongous still has the two refinery captors on the front of his truck, so their heads smashed right in and explode.
It looks great.
It's two watermelons on on dummies, but it looks awesome. It's like boom.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I think at one point too they get the truck's door and it rips right off.
Yeah, with another
which
hook
looks
move,
really
yeah.
freaking cool too.
Yeah.
There's just so many cool explosions and car crashes and firebombing. I mean, it is crazy what's going on.
I don't know how did the gyro captain live? Because he
I
crashes, and I'm like,
like
Sir,
it looks
how?
like he's like, oh man, he's gonna die, and then it's like not that bad of a crash, and like it doesn't action movie explode either.
yeah, it can't
So
fly
it's like-
anymore, but it can still drive. Apparently, he's like, what?
Yeah, and he drives away later. So it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. I mean, you find out later that apparently. Well, I guess we save that for sidekick, but yeah, it was. I was a little like, oh, that was. I was expecting him to be dead, and that being a much bigger explosion there. But but it wasn't. And then the truck flipping and crashing.
Well, before that
Also
happens,
fantastic.
we have Max turns around for
Yeah.
some reason. He goes for like, screw it, I'm gonna try this now, and
It works because it leads to cool stuff.
at the same time, Humongous hits the nitro.
Yes,
Eat your
he's
heart
trying
out,
to catch
Fast and
up.
Furious. Yeah, he got firebombed by the gyro captain,
Yeah.
which caused the gyro captain to get shot down. But so
Yes,
he's
he pulls out the giant gun and shoots, and he goes down.
Yeah, but you're kind of out of control, and when you're hitting the nitro, you're just kind of holding on.
Yeah.
So he thinks he's just catching up. At the same time, Wes pops up, revealing himself to be alive when the feral kid is reaching over on the hood of the truck to grab a shotgun shell.
Yeah.
Max reaches back, grabs the kid, and rams straight into Humongous, which causes the whole truck to flip perfectly right in front of the camera. And it's awesome. Awesome stunt.
Gorgeous.
And here's the backstory for this one. Nobody in Australia, no stuntman, had any experience flipping a truck. So they got an actual truck driver who's like, yeah, I've actually done it. It's not pleasant, but I know how to do it.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
the morning of the stunt, he wasn't allowed to eat any breakfast because we might have to fly you for emergency surgery right after.
Oh my god.
He does it in the first take. He does it perfectly. Like, they can't believe it. And he pops up out of the truck unhurt. He says, can I have my breakfast now?
That's so awesome.
Right?
It's like, is that the most badass thing? I don't know. The guy that has the bent pin in the leg might also be equally badass. I can't choose.
It's a competition.
Yeah.
But
it's great.
That's it for action.
And it's a cool reveal with the sand.
Yeah, there's Max is
being in
just a
the tanker.
distraction. There's actually no gas in the truck.
But
It's
it
all
looks
been loaded.
like Max was not aware either.
No, he did not know.
Yeah.
He
He did not know.
They hit it on with all the buses and everything like where people are.
Yeah. It's a nice moment. I like it. It's a nice reveal.
And that's his third big smile, where he realizes, like, yeah, good one.
Yeah, I got messed over. I put 4.
I also put 4.
All right, cool. Yeah, all right, yeah. I didn't give it 5 because you're right. Yeah, there's a bit of a break in the action. Although I was entertained, I enjoyed myself regardless. But yeah, there is a bit of a break where it could have been paced a little better action wise and that's what lost a point for me.
Yeah.
But otherwise, when it does do the action, it's hell of a
Especially the
lot
last
entertaining.
11, 13 minutes. It's like, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, for sure.
Sidekicks. We had no mentors in this one.
No, but we got a ton of different sidekicks. I mean, yeah, there's a few of them, right? I mean, first off, the dog.
Dog, who only goes by the name Dog. Yeah.
He only goes by the name Dog. I read that apparently they just found him in a like a humane, or not a humane shelter, because he was going to be put down or something, and they saved him and trained him, is what I read.
They were going to put him down the next day.
Yeah, that's insane to me.
Yeah.
And it's insane, like, that they were able to, like, just train this random dog.
Miller
Apparently,
wanted a dog who looked authentically Australian, like someone you would see all the time in Australia. So they went to a shelter, and the trainer was like, I can train this dog. This dog's really smart.
Yeah, apparently it was like playing with a rock or something. I read.
Yeah.
But it's impressive, and the dog, his little nest cocoon thing in the back of the interceptor was adorable.
Yeah, it's where Max's netting is for when he camouflages the interceptor. That's what he's laying on.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and how he helps him the whole time. He
saves him from the gyro captain in his ambush.
Yes, he saves him from the gyro captain. He again, the joke where he's holding onto the string that's tied to the gun that's pointing at him in the car is fantastic. I love that he's his little buddy, and he gets the, after Bad Max eats his dog food, he gives the next portion to the dog, and the gyro captain gets to lick
whatever's left over. Yeah.
enjoy that.
That's the order of
Um,
things.
he's always there to growl and jump at guys. He saves them a couple of times. And then sadly, you know, when he's, Max is clearly out for the count after his car gets wrecked later in the movie, and he stands his ground to protect his.
It's amazing that dog didn't get hurt at all.
Yeah. It didn't. Yeah, it seemed fine. Max got severely messed up, but the dog seemed perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine.
But didn't make it out, and
He
was
gets arrowed. And you hear Miller
It
said
was
he
really
got
sad.
more shit for killing off the dog than any of the violence in this movie. It's like people only yelled at me about the dog.
Because how do you not love that dog? But it really was like a real impactful moment when the dog dies, because you're like, oh my god, this dog has been an awesome sidekick. It's been comic relief. It's literally his buddy the whole way, helping, like literally saves him a couple of times.
Keeps
like,
him warm when he's sleeping.
Yeah, it was just it was heartbreaking. What an emotional moment when the dog dies. Yeah. I mean, luckily they do it kind of off screen a bit there.
Yeah, they do it off screen. They never see the body, which thankfully.
Yeah, it probably would have been too much to see any kind of emotional reaction from Max, but yeah, it was rough. It was a rough one. But dog, gotta love dog, and then you got the Gyro Captain, who is fun.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy. He's a pretty funny guy.
How long do you think he was waiting there to ambush Max?
I don't know. Did he know someone was coming soon?
I assume you can hear the interceptor from far away. That's got to sound loud, right? But to know he's going to pull off and check out this gyrocopter or whatever?
Yeah. But like, how did he bury himself by himself?
I don't know.
Like, how does one do that?
Well,
like
maybe
at some
if you
point,
put a blanket over you and you put stuff on the blanket, maybe. I don't know.
I guess, yeah.
Dig a
hole.
Don't
know. It was weird.
Yep.
It was definitely weird, but it was again enjoyable. I like actually the relationship between the dog and the Gyro Captain.
Yes.
The dog's trying to get the snake. He's like, "No, this is my snake. I trained it. Like
I trained it. I get to eat it." Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. That too.
A nice little relationship between the two. So that was fun. He's trying to get some, and then he seems to have somewhat of a conscience, right? So like Max is like looking at these people getting raped and killed, and doesn't really seem to have too much of a reaction. But he legitimately has an emotional reaction to what he's looking at. He's kind of horrified by what he's looking at.
This is after Max is checking out this attack with his binoculars.
Yeah, it's
a great
joke.
The brings out this giant telescope, and Max takes one look at it, just takes the telescope, and gives him the binoculars. Nope, mine now.
And they just continue on though.
Yep.
They don't. He doesn't even make a thing out of it. And they just continue looking.
The Gyro Captain is horrified by the rape and murder.
Yeah. And Max is like kind of whatever. I'm on to my next thing.
He starts off as an adversary, but turns into an unwilling sidekick and a helpful ally. And finally, he ends up as the leader of the refinery people at the end when the original leader dies.
Yeah, and he's firebombing. He saves Max a few times. So again, very helpful sidekick. He's not annoying. He's funny. Again, enjoyable. And then I guess after that, like all of the refinery people, I guess are kind of sidekicks. I guess. A little bit. None of them really do too well.
The feral kid is the only other one who has any kind of presence.
Yeah. Gotta love the metal boomerang.
Love it. Do love it.
Yeah, I like that he right away chops the dude's fingers off.
Yeah, the toady.
Everybody just laughs at the guy.
Everyone laughs at the toady. Yeah. Nobody respects the toady.
Yeah, nobody does. This feral kid has caused a lot of problems for this gang, but everybody's like, okay, whatever. Yeah. They don't do anything to him. But he's helpful. He helps out Max quite a bit. He helps Max get through the gang without starting a fight or anything. So he's growling at people. He's adorable with the music box. He gets the music box. And he's
forgot to mention, I love the bit where Max is sneaking from the refinery to go back to the truck. And he's got like the 5 gallons of diesel on his back. Mm-hmm. And you can, when he's about to leave, you can see that there's one of the refinery people at the bottom of the screen is oiling Max's leg brace. So he doesn't make any noises. So like, that's such a nice touch. We don't need to have any dialogue about it. Here he's like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
that's cool. That's
I
smart.
did notice that. Yeah, and they do a pretty good job in this one to make sure like he's never running around. Like he clearly has a limp
Yeah,
the whole time. And there's 1.2 where they show the feral kid is trying to mimic his limp.
yeah,
Did you catch that? Yeah, I
yeah,
thought that was adorable. He wants to be in his car. He's hiding out. He's mimicking his limp and everything because he just thinks Mad Max is such a cool guy, you know. So yeah, again, enjoyable. And he's right there in the cabin, in the truck. Well, at least not right in the cabin right away. But Max is like, all right, and he just lifts him up and puts him in the cabin, and he's his little buddy there.
yeah.
And again, seems to be perfectly fine with the truck flipping and all that. But yeah, again, all very useful sidekicks. All of them are pretty funny, entertaining. They're none of them are annoying, and they're
Well,
useful.
none of them are annoying. Feral Kid's got to be saved a bunch of times. He's not that useful in my opinion, but he's cute and I enjoy him.
Yes. This might be crazy, but I went 5.
Whoa! No,
I know.
absolutely not. No,
I did. I went there.
I gave it a 2.5.
2.5. That's harsh. Why is that harsh?
Probably should be a 3, but
They're all useful. They're all enjoyable. They're all entertaining. I presented all this information. You've agreed with all of it, and you go 2?
2.5. Anyway, but
Still, that is harsh.
5 is impressive. 5 is Eddie Murphy sidekick.
That is Eddie Murphy level. Maybe a little high. I said I know it's a little nuts, but I think you are the complete opposite extreme. I think.
I'm willing to. You've won me over that I should be a little nicer, but 5 is way out of bounds.
Fine, we are both the extreme. What is the middle between 5 and 2.5?
I guess probably. Oh God, you're gonna have to erase this one. Let's see what the average is.
Oh,
3.75. Yeah, so 3.5.
3.5.
I can live with a 3.5. I can go
Okay.
an extra point.
We could go 3.5. So we need to come back to hero and villain, I guess, because I went 3.5 for both of those. So my final score, I don't know if this will help. My final score was a 16.5. Final score.
My original one was a 12.5.
12.5. So yeah,
My original one, but now it's up to 13.5. If I don't go up the extra half points for the. How about we just go? You can have a hero or a villain for 3.5. The other one remains at 3.
Interesting. So you had it at what, 12.5? Is that what you said?
Originally.
So we would both end up having it kind of in the same place in the scoring list. So
I'm fine with a final score of like 14.
So you will concede on either 3.5 for hero or villain, but not both.
Yeah,
is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Pick
I'm. So, if it's not 3.5, would it be 3?
Yeah. 3 or 3.5. That's
All right. I guess because the iconicness of Mad Max, I'm gonna go 3.5 for hero.
okay. I probably would have done the opposite. That's fine.
Yeah, I do love Humongous. You're right. I mean, it doesn't matter as long as we're getting the score. I guess. I mean, take your pick on where you put that half a point and how I'm feeling. I guess.
It's stupid, you're right, but I love it.
Anyway, so we got 3.5 hero, 3 villain, 4 action, and we went 3.5 side.
Ends at a 14.
Ends at a 14. All right, that's not too bad. All right, so yeah, that means it is second now.
Yeah, I thought so it would be. So a couple more things. This movie barely had a script. A lot of the movie was based off of storyboards that Miller drew up, some like the night before.
Oh, wow.
That's
crazy.
I want to point out that I'm disappointed we didn't get to see the dog in the gyrocopter. Because when Max has the gas and he finds I forgot to mention, Max, when he leaves the gyro captain tied up to a log up on like this
Yeah.
hill or whatever, and when he goes back there, he's gone. He's got the gas. He's going back. So then he goes and he sees him dragging the log, trying to go back to his copter, and that's where Max makes him carry the gas the rest of the way. And they go back to his copter, and the gyro captain flies them back both over to the truck. I am annoyed we didn't get to see the dog in the truck in the gyrocopter.
Yeah.
That would've been
Especially
fun.
because it's supposed to be only like a 2-seater or whatever.
Yeah,
But I guess it was like too dangerous to actually have 2 people in it or something. So it was like a dummy and one other person.
yeah, yeah.
But-
No, the guy who's flying the gyrocopter is just some Australian guy who just had this. They were like,
Oh, wow.
we don't think this thing's legal. I don't know.
That's crazy.
We don't think it's street legal. He just had this thing, and he flies it, and he wore the
Yeah, it
the
definitely
actor's
looks
costume.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because anytime you see the actor in it, it's just like on a stand, and they're shooting him from below,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how they would get all the shots. But the actual guy was apparently a real Australian crazy guy.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're really like down there too. Like they're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Filming.
So also, I want to point out there's another actor in this that you have seen in something else briefly.
Yeah.
The Warrior Woman. The
Okay.
Pretty blonde who's got the big shoulder pads.
Yeah.
She was Pushkin's girlfriend in The Living Daylights.
Yeah.
The one that Bond strips nude to kill the KGB agents.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah, that's her.
Living Daylights.
And then the last thing I'll point out, the budget
I should have
of,
recognized that. That's one of my favorite Bond movies, man. What am I doing?
budget of $3 million, which is a little over $9
It's now
million
in my
today.
head.
Sorry, buddy. And it had a worldwide gross of $23.6 million, which is almost $72 million today. So big hit.
And you said too, right? This kind of like what pushed Attack Force Z to come out too in the
Yeah.
US, right?
So this movie actually came out in December of 1981 in Australia.
Right.
It eventually hit America, huge hit, and yeah, Attack Force Z got released in America because of this becoming such a runaway hit.
Yeah. It's fun, man. I enjoy the heck out of it. It's I really wanted to watch Thunderdome too next. I really did. I ran out of time. I wish I did because
Now you have it forever, so it's okay.
Yeah, it left me wanting more for sure. I was like, let's go. You know. So hopefully I get around to it. I will. But I like it. It's enjoyable. I think it's deservedly, at least so far, our number 2 ranked movie. So just to kind of go over just our top movies. First Blood, number 1 at 17. Road Warrior 2 at 14. 48 Hours is 3 at 12. And then Class of 84 is 11.5. And then The Junkman at 5 at 10. And that's our top 5.
So you ready to find out what we're doing next week, Tim?
I guess so. What are we doing?
Well, we've hit the third quarter of this podcast season.
Okay.
And every quarter we have to hit one of these since there's 4 of them. It's going to go back to fantasy.
Okay.
And someone told me that this was a big movie for the heterosexual ladies. Really woken their eyes to the male physique.
Oh,
So
yeah?
we're watching Beastmaster.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah.
It's
he is
apparently
pretty
a
ripped.
sexy movie, and I didn't realize that growing up.
I mean, yeah, he is kind of like loinclothed and like he's pretty ripped. Like he's not
It's not Arnold.
like yeah, he's not Arnold. It's not like he's got muscle on top of muscle. Kind of like an athletic ripped look that he's got going on. I have not seen this movie probably since I was a kid. Like I might have been middle school the last time, maybe.
I actually watched this a couple of years ago, and you know that one scene that really freaked you out?
Yeah.
It's still freaky.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah. The ferrets are still in it though, right? So
The ferrets are there biting people on the dicks. They're there.
it's a good time, man. Let's go.
Yeah. Beastmaster. It's so much better than
Beastmaster.
Sorceress. I can promise you that.
Yeah. And Is he? I can't remember. Is his voice ADR the whole time, or he's the hero's voice is so distinct in that movie?
I think it's actually him, but there is probably still a lot of ADR.
Like it sounds like something that doesn't fit in the world.
Yeah, yeah. We got a future Bond girl in this too.
Hello,
who sounds even more out of place. Tanya Roberts is here, and you're like,
oh my gosh, Tanya Roberts, yeah. James.
Yep. I
went back to my Bond again.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's such a bummer we don't have a Bond movie this year, but at least we get a Bond girl.
It really is. It really is disappointing. I'm almost hoping that whatever season we do, we stick with action and we get a Bond in there. We'll
see what the wheel promises. I don't know.
Yeah. What did that now just makes me think of? We just need the little thing from the Animaniacs, right?
No.
So the Wizard Wheel of Wonder, turn.
Tell us a lesson that we should learn.
Yeah, there it is. All
right.
Cool. And that should be free on Amazon
It's free
Prime,
on Prime. Yeah, last I checked.
Prime.
Let's
cool.
double check real quick. Free on Prime.
Free on Prime. All right. That's awesome. Okay.
Rip Torn's the bad guy. I forgot about Rip Torn's the bad guy.
There's so much fun to be had. I'm excited. I hope it holds up. All right, everyone. That is it for us. Please show your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you happen to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag FilmBroChamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. Peace out, everyone.
Rip Torn!